Welcome back to part two of the fighter subclass kind of breakdown, where I just kind of look through the different subclasses here of fighter and give you my 2 cents on the tier list. Just kind of giving you an idea of what's good, what's bad, what's in between. Part one, I'll post somewhere up here ish, where you can go take a look at the lower tier fighters, the ones that I've kind of thrown into the dumps. But now we're going to get involved into the good stuff. All right, the higher tier things, starting with B tier with the Psy Warrior. And I'm going to be honest, I loved the vibe of the Psy Warrior when I read it. I thought that it was going to be really, really cool and really awesome. And then I realized just how horrible of scaling the Psy Warrior gets. We'll get there. All right, at third level, you harbor a wellspring of psionic energy within yourself. This energy is represented by your psionic energy dice, which are D6s. You have a number of these equal to twice your proficiency bonus, which is nice. I love this newfound. I found that they did this quite a bit in Tasha's. Double your proficiency bonus. That is such a nice wellspring of abilities. Having 4 at the beginning, 6 from a lot of tier, 2 of play, so levels 5 through 10, getting, to use 8 eventually, and then eventually 10. It's a nice scaling thing. I love that they introduce it, and I hope that I get to see more of these if they come out with any more subclasses and stuff for 5th edition. Anyway, some of your powers expend these psionic dice as specified in the power's description, and you can't use a power if it requires you to use a die when you do not have any dice left. You regain them all after a long rest, and in addition, as a bonus action, you can regain 1 expended psionic die, but you cannot do so again until you finish a short or long rest. So even that, your double your proficiency is not technically your max. You can, if you take enough long rest, gain 1, 2, some of them back throughout the day. When you reach certain levels in this class, the size of the die increases. 5th level, you would now use a D8. At 11th level, you use a D10. And at 17th level, you use a D12. All right, here are the abilities that you use. You get to use your psionic dice for a protective shield, a psionic strike, or a telekinetic movement. Protective shield, you use your reaction. You roll a psionic die and you add your intelligence modifier, and you negate damage to either yourself or someone that you see within 30 feet. You get to stop some of that damage. It's good. The problem is that when you first unlock this at 3rd level, a D6 plus your intelligence, which I started my campaign off that I was a player and was a Psy Warrior with, I believe, a 2 in my intelligence. So to be able to negate 6 points of damage as a reaction for a decent amount of times early was actually pretty effective. It was actually pretty nice. The problem is we are now 5th level. I am able to stop using a D8 plus my intelligence, which I had leveled up and took skills and things throughout it that allowed me. Now I have a 16 intelligence. What I am finding is that a D8 plus 3 is actually not a lot of negating, especially when we're going up against things that are doing like 20 plus points of damage a hit. It's not a lot. Same with the psionic strike. Once a turn, you get to use the psionic strike to deal extra damage equal to your psionic energy plus your psionic dice plus your intelligence. It's nice that it's not a called shot. You can add it after you've hit. So, if you're looking for a crit, it is a number that you can, use to hunt down a crit for if you would like to. The problem is that, again, D6 is great at 3rd level. D8s at 5th level kind of suck. The average comes out to be like a 4.5/5. So, you're only adding an extra, 8 points of damage around on average. It's just not that big of a deal. And as for telekinetic movement, this one, you do not roll it. You spend it as if it's a coin. You just basically grip a willing creature and you move them 30 feet. This has actually been useful. This has been an ability that I've used a number of times to save people out of avalanches, to get them out of the way of a falling bridge, to yeet them up onto a balcony, somewhere else. The only problem is that I cannot use it on myself, and it must be a willing creature. So there is some trade-off there. All right, telekinetic adept. At 7th level, you have mastered new ways to use your telekinetic abilities. You have the psi-powered leap. As a bonus action, you can propel your body with your mind. You gain a flying speed equal to twice your walking speed, until the end of your current turn. Once you take this bonus action, you cannot do so again until you finish a short rest, or use your psionic die to replenish it. Telekinetic thrust. When you deal damage to a target with your psionic strike, you can force it to make a strength saving throw versus a DC using your intelligence. If it fails, then the target is knocked prone, or I can move it 10 feet in any direction that I want. If I'm looking for advantage, then this would be effective. The problem is that our particular party, it is me and a barbarian player, and she and I have it pretty darn down to a pact where we just, we pick a target, she goes one side, I go the other, and we just both grant each other advantages. So this ability, kind of iffy. I have not reached 7th level in this campaign yet with my Psy Warrior. It seems, I don't see how getting a fly speed for a single turn, I don't know how effective that is. However, I will say it does make it so that, hey, I can move 60 feet. As a bonus action, I just move 60 feet. So maybe it helps me close the gap a little bit better. So maybe it does have some benefits there. All right, Guarded Mind. Starting at 10th level, the psionic energy flows through you, has bolstered your mind. You have resistance to psychic damage. Completely fucking useless unless you're fighting a whole bunch of either, Star Spawn or Mind Flayers. Moreover, if you start your turn charmed or frightened, I can expend a psionic energy die and end the effect that is subjugating me to these conditions. Here's my problem. This makes sense with the frightened condition. It doesn't make sense with the charm condition. The reason why I say that is because if I am charmed, do I recognize that I am charmed? Because if that's true, if you charm me, like let's say a vampire charms me and makes me believe that they're the coolest shit since sliced bread, why would I think of like, oh, I think I'm being charmed right now, I should use the psionic die? Like, why would I have that? Like that to me would hint that I'm not actually charmed because I know I'm in danger. So I don't know. It's one of those abilities where it's like, depending on how the DM rules it, your DM may very well go like, hey, you're like, I know that that's what it says, but like you're charmed, like you don't have a reason to use this. Like you wouldn't think of using it. So I don't know. It's B tier, all right? It's cool if it's effective, but it comes down to DM discretion, which never ends up going well. All right, Bulwark of Force. At 15th level, you can shield yourself and others with telekinetic force. As a bonus action, you can choose creatures, which can include you, that you can see within 30 feet of you, up to a number of your intelligence modifier. Each of those chosen creatures is given half cover for 1 minute or until I am incapacitated. Once I take this bonus action, I cannot do so again until I finish a long rest, unless I expend a psionic energy to do so. This is actually pretty effective, especially considering that half cover, I do believe it either gives you like a +2 or a +3 to your AC. So to be able to do that to, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 characters, including yourself, this could very well save some people. This could raise someone's AC enough that they are not taking damage, which is nice. It is at 15th level, which means odds are most of the things you're fighting probably have like, a plus, 12 to hit. So I don't know if a +2 to your AC is going to make that big of a deal, but hey, maybe it will. All right, finally, Telekinetic Master, our capstone. At 18th level, your ability to move creatures and objects with your mind is matched by few. You cast the telekinesis spell requiring no components, and your spellcasting modifier is intelligence. On each of your turns, while you concentrate on this spell, including the turn you cast it, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action. So very force choky. I reach out, I grab something, and I bring it over to me, and then I attack them. As a bonus action. When I cast a spell with this feature, I cannot do so again until I finish a long rest or expend a psionic die. This is cool. I like this. I like this ability. The only problem is that I feel like for an 18th level capstone, it is pretty... It's cool. I like that, telekinesis is a spell that can be used both in and out of combat. It definitely has its uses. It's just the fact that it's like, yeah, you get to use telekinesis once... you just get it, and you get to use it once for free, and then you have to use this pool of dice that you use for all of your other shit. I don't know. I wish they would have done a little bit more with it. But this is our B tier Psy Warrior. Not bad, but taking it from someone who's played this class before and is currently in the middle of it, I'm thinking of multi-classing to try and save, to try to bump up my power level, because going straight Psy Warrior is not doing it for me. We're going on up here into our A tier. Like I said, the fighter is more spread out. The fighters, we're not talking about, the clerics and even the druid where we were really top heavy. We're pretty spread out here with the fighter. For A tier, we have the Rune Knight. Bonus proficiencies at 3rd level. You gain proficiency in smithing tools, along with the ability to speak, read, and write Giant. You also get to unlock Rune Carver. You pick 2 runes, and there's like 4 or 5 of them, and there's a lot of writing for each, so I didn't put them all up here. But you gain 2 runes, and you gain more as you level up. I think you max out at like 5 runes by the time of the character's end. Now, each one gives both a non-combative feature and also a combative feature. So basically it's, hey, I put this rune on a piece of armor or on my helmet or on my weapon, and it gives me something. So for instance, an example of this would be, I believe it is the Cloud Giant rune. It gives you proficiency in deception checks, I believe, and I think maybe even advantage when you're trying to persuade or deceive somebody. But in combat, I can expend that rune. So I blow it up, I light it up, I use it, and in return, it gives me something. Some of these runes include things like, I know the Fire Giant rune makes it so like fiery chains erupt out of my weapon and entangle the creature, and that creature has to make a strength save or be grappled, be restrained by my chains, and also get 2d6 fire damage on it. I know, the Stone Giant, I believe, when I expend that rune, I gain resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And each one does something like that, so it's nice, if I have the rune on me, just by having it on my person, I gain a benefit. And then if I need a little bump in power, if I need to do something cool in combat, I can expend it and get something cool out of it. Really cool. I like the theme. It works. All right, Giant Might. At 3rd level, you've learned how to imbue yourself with the might of giants. As a bonus action, you magically gain the following benefits, which lasts for 1 minute. If you are smaller than large, then you are now large, along with anything you are wearing. If you lack the room to become large, then your size doesn't change. You're constrained. You have advantage on strength checks and saving throws, and once on each of your turns, one of your attacks with a weapon or an unarmed strike can deal an extra 1d6 damage to the target that you hit. You can use this feature a number of times equal to a proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This is nice. This is a nice little bump of damage. I wish that it was like every strike you'd get, but I guess that's too powerful. But overall, not bad. All right, it's kind of like it's a mini barbarian kind of thing. For a minute you get to be kind of like a barbarian, minus the resistances to damage. But hey, it's okay. All right, Runic Shield. At 7th level, you learn how to invoke your rune magic to protect your allies. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you can use the reaction to force the attacker to re-roll and then use the new one. You can use this feature a number of times, equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Not bad. This is a nice little, hey, help out my buddy. All right, when someone is about to get hit, you can reach out and try and kind of get them, prevent them from being attacked. Not bad. Great Stature. By 10th level, the magic of your runes permanently alters you. When you gain this feature, roll 3d4. You grow a number of inches in height equal to the roll. Moreover, the extra damage you deal with the Giant's Might feature is increased to 1d8. This is a joke. This is a laughable joke. This is the one that has made me absolutely not want to play Rune Fighter, or at the very least, why I would never aim to reach 10th level. The only difference on average of damage from a 1d6 to a 1d8 is 1 point of damage. The average of a d6 is 3.5 or 4. The average of a d8 is 4.5 or 5. That's it. We are talking 1 point of damage difference, which means the only actual permanent thing that is changed at 10th level for us is we grow a few inches in height. Yeah. No, thank you. All right, 15th level, Master of Runes. You can invoke each rune you know from your Rune Carver feature twice instead of one. That means that normally, if I had that, say, that Cloud Giant rune, normally if I use it in combat, use its combative ability, then that's it. It's gone, and I have to reapply it next day to have the passive abilities, the passive effects that it gave me. This one, however, is like, hey, you get to use it twice. So that's really, really cool. I like it. And I now regain uses of that rune, so I can apply my runes on not just long rests anymore, but also short rests. This is exactly what this class needs, and it gives you, this class is meant to be a rune knight, and this is the ability that lets you actually get there. All right, Runic Juggernaut. At 18th level, you learn how to amplify your rune power transformation. As a result, the extra damage you deal with the Giant's Might now is 1d10. And moreover, when you use that feature, your size can increase to huge. And while you are that size, your reach increases by 5 feet. You become just this giant, battle, kind of controller of the battlefield. If you went all the way to 18th level and took, like, say, the Sentinel feat, able to shut down, people's movement as a reaction, like, this would be cool. I will say a D10, it feels way better to roll a D10 than it does a D6 or a D8. But again, in the grand scheme of things, the average actual damage output is not as big of a difference as you think that it is. But it's not bad. I'm glad that they are amplifying it beyond the D8. So it's good. Overall, it's good. And again, if you want to, go look up the different kinds of giant runes. Each one of them is cool. Each one of them is a rune that I'm like, that passive ability is awesome, or that combat ability is awesome, or they're both awesome. I don't think there's a single rune that I'm like, yeah, that's a junk rune. I don't know why anyone would ever put that on any of their shit. It's all good. So Rune Knight, absolutely fun, absolutely a blast, and definitely an A tier. Sticking with our A tiers, we have Samurai. Probably one of my favorite subclasses of fighter, to be honest. For bonus proficiency, when I choose this at 3rd level, I am now proficient in History, Insight, Performance, or Persuasion. Alternatively, I also can learn a language of my choice. Also at 3rd level, and this is probably why we're going this class, my intensity in battle can shield me and help me strike true. As a bonus action on your turn, you can give yourself advantage on all weapon attacks until the end of your current turn. When you do so, you also gain 5 temp HP. The number of hit points increases when you reach certain levels, increasing to 10 at 10th level and 15 at 15th. You can use this feature 3 times. You regain all of them when you finish a long rest. I love this ability. It's super awesome. Temp HP you can never go wrong with. Giving yourself advantage on your strikes is phenomenal. The only problem I will say is the fact that, again, you only get to use it 3 times. For now. It changes later, but to only use it 3 times, I mean, fuck, I could do, that could be, if it's a really long, prolonged fight against a big bad, that I may use all 3 and, half of the rounds against them, so I do wish that this was one of those, like, hey, number equal to your proficiency bonus, or twice your proficiency bonus even, just a number that you can alter. Versus this one where it just says you get 3 and you're going to be fucking happy with it. All right, 7th level, you have Elegant Courtier. Starting at 7th level, your discipline and attention to detail allow you to excel in social situations. It's almost like Wizards of the Coast heard the community bitching that fighters are usually white bread, combative, chads that all they care about is, kill, stabby, stab. And so they're like, well, here's a fucking samurai, all right? Enjoy. And I will. Thank you very much. Whenever you make a charisma check, you gain a proficiency to the check equal to your wisdom modifier. Your self-control also causes you to gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. If you already have this proficiency, you instead gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma saving throws. This is nice. This is very, very nice. It can even, if you take the, like, say, the resilience feat, because you're a fighter, you get way more of them. This could even be something that, allows you to become pretty good at resisting, a lot of different spells, which is super cool. All right, Tireless Spirit. Starting at 10th level, when you roll initiative and have no uses of fighting spirit remaining, you regain 1 use. This is their answer to you only being able to have 3. Rapid Strike. At 15th level, you learn to trade accuracy for swift strikes. If you take the attack action on your turn and have advantage on the attack roll against one of the targets, you can forego the advantage on that roll and make an additional weapon attack against that target as part of the same action. You can do so no more than once per turn. This means that because by like 15th, 16th level, a fighter can attack like 3 times. Which means if you do this, have this feature, have Polearm Master and Action Surge, you can attack like 10, 11 times in 1 turn. That's fucking nuts. And I love it. I love it. I'm all about it. All right, Strength Before Death. Starting at 18th level, your fighting spirit can delay the grasp of death. If you take damage that reduces you to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to delay falling unconscious, and you can immediately take an extra turn. While you have 0 hit points during that extra turn, taking damage causes death saving throws as normal, and all 3 death saving throws will kill you instantly, which means your body drops. When the extra turn ends, you fall unconscious, and if you still have 0 hit points. Once you use this feature, you cannot do so again until you finish a long rest. This is broke, and it's broke because basically all you would ever do is just give this fucking dude a health potion. Just be like, hey, this is your emergency health potion. Whenever this ability activates, chug the pot. All right, and now you get a whole extra free turn just cuz. I love this class. It's borderline broke, especially if you get all the way to 18th level, but it's fun. I love it. It's a solid A tier. You will not be disappointed playing this class. And we made it here to the end, folks. We have our S tier, the good old Battle Master, all the way back from Player's Handbook. It's pretty rare to see the an OG in the final 3, especially in the last spot permanently, but it's a solid class, and it is solid for a reason. At the end of the day, you don't need a whole bunch of fluff with this guy. It's just that good. Combat Superiority. When you choose this at 3rd level, you gain maneuvers and special superiority die to use them. You learn 3 of your choice. Many maneuvers enhance an attack in some way. You can use only 1 maneuver per attack. You learn 2 additional maneuvers at 7th, 10th, and 15th level. And each time you learn new ones, you can replace one maneuver with a different one if you would like to. Your superiority die, you gain 4, which are d8s. A superiority die is expanded when you use it. You regain all of your expanded superiority dice when you finish a short or long rest. You gain another superiority die at 7th level and another at 15th, so you eventually max out at 6. Your saving throws, you use your strength or dex, so you can be either a strength or a dex-based fighter. And all of that. This is solid, and I hate the fact that you go and you be a Psi Warrior and you start with a goddamn D6, and this bitch is just like, yeah, at 3rd level, here's a D8. Oh, and you get them back on short rests. And a lot of the maneuvers are really cool. Yeah, this is the reason why the Battle Master is considered like one of the best subclasses of fighter, period. And it is, in my opinion, the best subclass. Also, however, at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with 1 type of artisan tool of your choice. Pretty, that sheer flavor. It's probably not going to come in too handy for you, but it's cool. All right, know your enemy. At 7th level, if you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, you can learn certain information about its capabilities compared to your own. The DM will tell you the creature is either equal, superior, or inferior in regard to 2 of the following characteristics of your choice. So basically, you just tell the DM, "Yo, I've been staring this guy down for the last minute. What is their strength, dex, constitution, AC, current hit points, total class level, if any of it is fighter, or if they have any type of improved combat superiority." Or yeah, or if any fighter class levels, if any. Yeah, it's crazy. It is very effective. I will say it is balanced because you do have to stare at them for a minute, which maybe your DM wouldn't allow you to have often, but it's solid. All right, improved combat superiority. That should be another line down. At 10th level, your superiority die turns into D10s. Looking back at you, Psy Warrior. And at 18th level, you now get to use D12s. Relentless, starting at 15th level when you roll initiative. If you have no superiority die remaining, you regain 1 superiority die. I hate that it's only 1. It's like, okay, this is my goddamn, like, you know, this is 15th level, right? Like, I should be getting something cool. Hey, if you ever, you know, mismanaged your resources, here's a superiority die. You know, here's a D10 for you. Even my S tiers can't be perfect. But this was it. This was my subclass. I was a little bit more sarcastic and a little bit more dry with some of them, just because I don't know if it's because of a memory of a particular player I've played with who just seemed to always want to play fucking fighter, and talk them up as if they were like the best class that ever was graced down upon the D&D community. Or it's just the fact that, I don't know, there's just, I feel like the fighter, it tries so hard to be things that they ended up just kind of like missing the ball on so many of them, which is probably why, like, I feel like, you know, they were such a widespread. But whatever the case, Samurai, Rune Fighter, you know, Battle Master, go play them. All right, if you've never played a fighter, especially if you can get to like mid-tier, you know, 8th level, 10th level, 12th level, go play one of these guys. All right, and the ability scores alone, action surge alone, you know, would be enough to make anybody go like, holy shit, that sounds cool. And a lot of these are super awesome abilities. So Battle Master, definitely an S tier. Samurai, Rune Fighter, even Psy Warrior, I'm looking at you. Even you can be kind of fun sometimes. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked looking through the fighter. I did, just because some of these classes are subclasses I've never played, and I never fucking will. Looking at you, goddamn Eldritch Knight. But hope you enjoy the video, and I will catch you next time.